Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. At the beginning of this year, I released a video on 4 business lines of credit that you can be approved for with either low to no documentation. In that same time frame, I went to several other banks to get approved for more business lines of credit, including Chase. Now, Chase has historically maintained high eligibility standards. Borrowers typically need to demonstrate excellent personal credit and have a well-established business. Chase in particular prefers 2 or more years in operation. Additionally, Chase may require proof of sufficient revenue to support responsible repayment, although Chase doesn't publicly state its specific revenue threshold. Today, I'm going to give you my full and transparent guide to getting approved for the Chase business line of credit based on my personal experience when I went into a local Chase branch and what I was told by my personal banker. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's begin with a brief overview of the Chase business line of credit. At its core, a business line of credit functions much like a revolving credit card. Businesses grant a maximum borrowing limit, which for Chase, it goes up to $500,000, and you can draw funds as needed, paying interest only on the amount that you actually use. As funds are repaid, businesses regain access to borrow again through the revolving structure. This flexibility can prove invaluable for managing cash flow fluctuations, covering unpredictable expenses, or bridging seasonal revenue gaps. Before diving into how Chase's business line of credit works, it's vital to understand why such financing is sought by business owners in the first place. Traditional term loans give you a lump sum upfront that's repaid over a predetermined schedule. While this structure suits large-scale investments or acquisitions, it's less suited for irregular ongoing operational needs. Conversely, a line of credit ensures businesses have funds available when cash is tight. It's a vital buffer during slow months or unexpected dips in revenue. Now let's discuss the 2 lines of credit that are offered by Chase. You'll have the Chase business line of credit and their commercial line of credit. Both of these are very powerful funding tools, but they serve 2 very different types of business needs. So let's walk through what makes each one unique and how to know which one fits your goals in 2025. First, let's start with the Chase business line of credit. This product is designed for established Chase business customers who need flexible, ongoing access to capital. You can borrow anywhere from $10,000 to $500,000. It's structured to give you access to funds for 5 full years. That means once you're approved, you can draw from your available balance as often as you want, anytime you need working capital for inventory, marketing spend, or even payroll support. That line is available to you. And when you repay what you've borrowed, those funds become available again. This revolving feature is a major advantage if you need capital over time instead of just all at once. On the other hand, the commercial line of credit is for businesses that need access to more than $500,000. The structure here is a little bit different. Rather than a 5-year draw period, the commercial line of credit gives you up to 2 years with potential to renew. During this time, Chase pairs you with an expert banker for guidance to support you for the application stage and through how you actually use this line of credit. This line is better suited for mid-sized to large companies that have bigger borrowing needs and want a more hands-on relationship with their bank. Next, let's discuss the rates for both of these options. When we look at the interest rates, both products have variable rates, but they're indexed very differently. The business line of credit is tied to the prime rate. So depending on your credit worthiness and your business profile, your rate will fall somewhere between prime plus 2.20% and prime plus 7.15%. Meanwhile, the commercial line of credit is indexed to the 1-month SOFR rate, also known as the secured overnight finance rate, instead of the prime rate. So for clarity, the secured overnight financing rate, the SOFR, is a benchmark interest rate that reflects the cost of borrowing cash overnight secured by the U.S. Treasury securities. It's essentially a rate that banks and other financial institutions use to determine how much it costs to borrow money on an overnight basis. That's a key distinction because SOFR often moves differently than prime and is seen as a more stable benchmark in institutional lending. But here's where things get even more interesting. With the commercial line of credit, you might be eligible for a significant interest rate discount, anywhere from 0.4 to 1.2% through Chase's relationship pricing program. If your business holds a large deposit balance or uses other Chase financial services, you could qualify for this pricing advantage. This is something you'll need to speak with a business banker about, but it could translate into big savings over time if you do qualify. Moving on to how the payments work. With the business line of credit, your minimum monthly payment is calculated calculated as 1% of the principal balance plus whatever the interest has accrued that month. After the 5-year draw period ends, you get another 5 years to repay the remaining balance. That long repayment runway gives you time to manage your cash flow while still reducing your debt. The commercial line of credit is a little more compressed in terms of payment structure. During the active term, you're only required to make interest payments each month, and that is it. However, your entire balance becomes due in full when the term ends. That means you either need to pay it off, refinance it, or apply for a renewal. The maturity structure is shorter, and that makes sense. This product is aimed at businesses with larger, more strategic funding needs and the cash flow to manage lump sum repayment if needed. Moving on to the fees, because this is where smart borrowers can find opportunities to save money. The business line of credit does not come with any application or origination fees. However, there is an annual fee that equals either $200 or 0.25% of your approved credit limit, whichever is greater. The maximum you'll pay is $750 per year, but this is the key. If you use at least 40% of your credit limit on average throughout the year, Chase will waive that fee entirely for the following year. Actively using your line of credit helps build your business credit and also will save you money. In contrast, the commercial line of credit does come with an origination fee. It's 0.15% of your approved line limit amount, and that fee is capped at $3,000. For a line of credit that goes far beyond $500,000, in that context, it's relatively modest for that fee, especially when you consider that you can qualify for that relationship pricing discount on the interest rate. So now that we've discussed how the business lines of credit actually work, if you're thinking about applying for a business line of credit, let's break down what it actually takes to get approved, because not everyone qualifies, and knowing the requirements upfront can save you time and energy, maybe even a hit to your credit score. This is all the information that I gathered from the official Chase website. A lot of people watching my channel are new to business, but eventually all of you will have a cash flowing business in 2 years, and then this option will be available to you. So it is good to know all this information right now. So first and foremost, your business needs to be established with at least 2 full years in operation, and that includes having the same majority ownership throughout those 2 years, which means you don't buy a shelf corporation or anything like that. It needs to be the same exact majority ownership. I recommend you having an Experian FICO score of 680 or higher. Chase likes to see a consistent track record of on-time payments. However, if you have had a few late payments here and there, it might not disqualify you, but a strong payment history will absolutely work in your favor. Your primary business address does need to be in the US, but there are 2 exceptions, Alaska and Hawaii. If your business is based in those states, they aren't currently eligible for this particular line of credit. However, anywhere else in the US, you are in the clear. Now, here's something else that no one mentions. Depending on how much you're looking to borrow, there may be additional requirements. Higher credit limits often come with extra documentation. However, if you're requesting $25,000 or less, you can get away with low documentation, and I'll explain everything you need to bring in order to get approved with this low documentation requirement. Keep in mind though, even if you meet all the listed requirements, approval is not guaranteed. So before you apply, make sure your business and personal credit are in good standing, your documents are in order, and you are crystal clear on how you plan to use these funds, because they will ask you. Being prepared can make all the difference in the world. Here's a quick look at the documents that are often needed to process an application for a business line of credit with Chase. First, you'll need your taxpayer identification number. That's your federal tax ID. All of you should have that if you have a business. Next, they may ask for evidence that your business is in good standing with the Secretary of State. They also may want to see your most recent year's business financials. That typically includes an income statement and a balance sheet, but we'll talk about a way around this. Another detail they'll ask for is your number of workers. This includes not only employees that are on your payroll, but also any active contract workers. That total worker count helps give Chase a sense of your business's scale and operational capacity. You'll also likely be asked to provide either your articles of incorporation or your articles of organization. These are the official documents that form your business with the state, and they show who owns the company and when it was established. Now, in some cases, Chase might request your tax transcripts, which come in 2 forms, either your 4506C or an 8821 form, depending on what kind of access they need. Finally, Don't be surprised if you're asked for both your business tax returns and your personal tax returns. This gives Chase a full picture of your income and financial obligations, not just from the business side, but also from you as the owner or the guarantor. But remember, Chase will notify you of exactly what they need, but having these documents ready ahead of time will give you a serious advantage. The more organized and prepared that you are, the faster your application can move through underwriting and the better your chances are for approval. So before you apply, do yourself a huge favor, get your docs together, review the accuracy, and stay one step ahead. Now, finally, let's get into the strategy for you to get approved for the Chase business line of credit. Now, for the Chase business line of credit, you have to apply in person. There's no other way to do this. So it's kind of hard to say exactly what your experience will be like. It may be different from what I got when I went into the branch. No matter what though, for this strategy to work, you will need to meet the eligibility requirements, but there is a way for us to work a little bit around these documents, as I've been saying. Number one, if you already have a Chase business checking account, you're in a much better position than someone applying cold. So if you do not have one yet, open an account with Chase right now, and you want to do this before applying for the line of credit. The account creates a relationship history, and that matters. It also allows you to easily draw from your line of credit once you are approved. The next thing that I recommend, you want to fund your Chase business account with anywhere between $10,000 and $50,000. Now, if you do not have these amounts, watch my business line of credit video I put out earlier this year. You can draw on other lines of credit that don't require any documentation, and then you can leave the money in your Chase account for at least 90 days. This is very important because if you apply for the Chase business line of credit and you're only requesting around $25,000, there is a chance that if you have $25,000 or more in your account, they may not actually require your business tax returns. Instead, they'll approve you with low documentation, meaning they may only ask you for 6 months of banking activity. And if you already have the money sitting in the Chase account with a little bit of activity, then you can have them look at this and also pull your personal tax returns for the last 2 years. That is the way that you can work around this. I recommend that you tell the banker that you're speaking with that your business has not made money in the last 2 years, so you did not file taxes. This is your first profitable year. But instead, what you're looking to do is provide them with your personal tax returns, and they can look at your bank statements that you currently have in their account with Chase. This strategy will still require you to meet most of the eligibility requirements, but this is the way that you can get approved with low documentation. However, this is enough to get your foot in the door, and this is what I recommend based on what I was told by a banker while I was inside of Chase. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I wasn't going to make this about the Chase business line of credit, but to be honest, up to $500,000 in working capital is really good. So of course, they're going to require some proof of income to know that you can actually pay back this line of credit. Once you get your foot in the door though, this is a great product to have. Unfortunately, it's not for a brand new business, but if you are actually planning for the future, you're planning for the long haul, and you actually want to have a business that makes money, then it's a no-brainer that you need to get in position in order to qualify for this. And hopefully this easy strategy will help you do just that. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and you guys have a wonderful day.